Good morning. Would you please remain seated, and we're going to light our chalice. Susan, can you help me? And please join me. We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community, working together to make the world a better place. When we are grieving or sad, when we are challenged, when we need help, this flame guides us out of the darkness. When we are cheerful, when we celebrate, when we accomplish a great task, when we return to a place that makes us happy, the chalice reminds us to share our happiness with others. Welcome to the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship. I'm Marilyn Cullison, a member of UCF. We're so glad you're here, and thank you for joining us on this happy and rainy day. Our congregation's vision is to be a visible presence in the community, growing a just world through spiritual enrichment, compassionate action, and free religious inquiry. Today, we gather to celebrate and dedicate our new visible presence in the community, our new campus and sanctuary. Thank you for joining us. We welcome those who've joined us on Zoom as well. Hi, Zoom land. And we have many guests with us today. We welcome back Music Director Emeritus Ann Odell. And traveled from Tennessee. She traveled from far away. Thank you, Ann. And our UCF Minister Emeritus, retired, Reverend Sally White. And Sally also traveled from Greensboro. And it's a long awaited day, especially I think Sally and Ann can attest. And it's exciting. And I apologize if I did not see you come in. I thought maybe Reverend Mybrit was going to be here. I don't see Mybrit. And if there are any other UU reverends and ministers from our area of North Carolina, please wave to us because I did not get to meet you when you came in. Okay. And we also have invited ministers from local churches. If you are here, please wave at us. We are thrilled that you're here. And we have many other guests that I hope you get to greet one another after the service when we celebrate. We also welcome Mayor Jerry Jones of Morehead City. And Mayor Jones has another event. And so I would like to welcome him to say a few words. So I invite you to come up to the podium.
Yeah, thank you for this invitation. And it's always a joy and a pleasure to be among friends. And an exciting day in Morehead City for us as we all gathered this morning to celebrate and dedicate the campus and the sanctuary, the United Coastal Fellowship. This morning when it was raining, I kind of wondered about how this ribbon cutting dedication might go today. But then again, because you think the sun always shines down on us at the coast, and most of the time it does. And we're always reminded that it's God that is shining down on us. So this morning when it was raining, I was kind of wondering how this event would go today and the others that I have this afternoon or a little bit later. And then I've always reminded when I was a small child and I was going to my great grandmother's funeral. and it was raining that day. And I was upset because it was raining at my little grandmama's funeral. And I looked up at my grandmother and just questioned her. She said, and she looked at me, she said, son, said, child, said, this rain is God's blessing down on your great grandmother. And so ever since that day, that was probably the beginning of my spiritual journey, that I realized that every day and the day of our Lord is a special day. And God is looking down on us, whether it's raining or whether the sun is shining. He is always in our presence every day. So when I had that thought this morning of the rain maybe disturbing this dedication today, this ribbon cutting, I said, nope, that's just God blessing us in Morehead City. Yeah, because every day, Morehead City is a beautiful day, in my opinion, and others, but some days are more beautiful than others, and this is definitely one of those more beautiful days. So I thank all the hard work of everybody that had their hands in this project and making all this happen. I remember probably 30, I can subtract 30 years ago in the early 90s, when Reverend Sally White came to Morehead City, and I think we were 10. Time is moving on, but I remember it was a cold January evening, and they were having the dedication of their new little white church at the corner, 13th and Evans Street. And I see Ann Odell smiling back there. There was a bunch of us that were there, and that was exciting for me, not just because of the invitation from Sally and getting to know her, but also that was a church I grew up in. That was my grandmother's church, the one I was just talking about. And it had sat there empty for a while. So then new life came, and the doors were opened back up, and people started coming back in. So I just had that. I just felt connected to that little white church there on 13th and Evans Street. And actually, that was about 30 years ago, and it served its purpose. But as times go on and people get more involved and communities grow, we grow with it. And I've always said that the strength of any community is the direct sum of all those that live there. You add all these people up in the communities, that's who we are. And the community of the United Coastal Fellowship in Morehead City came together, and they've grown, and look what they've done. I wanted to be here for the groundbreak, and I was out of town, but so I am just so excited to be here today, just to congratulate everybody and welcome you to your new sanctuary, and just recognize just how proud we are in Morehead City to have the presence of the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship, UCF. Trying to get my acronyms right here. And but mainly it's just so good to be among friends. I just see so many people in here that I've known for many years, and so some new faces that I'm sure that our paths will run across again, and we'll be friends. But it is exciting to be here today, to be in God's house, and just to celebrate His hand in all of our lives, and just recognizing just how good people can be and are when they want to be. And I remind everybody also that, as we do grow older and we do have legacies that we need to leave behind, we have to teach others. We have children coming up, and we don't inherit the earth, we borrow it from our children. So keep that strength that you've had over the years, and that momentum and that commitment, and it will carry on for future generations. On behalf of Morehead City and myself, I really do appreciate everybody here, and just thank you for what you have done, and improving the quality of life in Morehead City, not just here within the church, but in your outreach community also, because I know a lot of you give of yourself to other organizations in Carteret County. So again, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity for me being here with you this morning during this lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Louise. We are also honored to have a representative from our Unitarian Universalist Southern region. Kathy McGowan has traveled here from Cary, and I would like to invite Kathy to the podium.
Two minutes, I better be quick. Well, good job, y'all. Can I just say that? Can you give yourselves a hand? It is such an honor to be here. I am so happy for all of you. I have been working through the Southern region, serving the denomination for about a decade now. And you were one of the first congregations I visit when I was really, really green. And it's so nice to be back now and see this wonderful, wonderful place and be at this wonderful event. Did you feel the excitement when you walked in this morning? All that energy, it was as if there was a rolling wave coming in. And when I walked in and looked at this gorgeous space, it was just as like taking in a sea breeze, right? Oh, how lovely, how lovely. Let's just take a moment to acknowledge this special, special day we have here today. And take a deep breath. See if you can smell that sea breeze. Amen.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy and I met just a few seconds ago, so thank you. Thank you. So we have a very special treat for our dedication. Megan Lott, our pianist, has composed a special choir piece for us, and the choir is going to sing. And I invite Megan up to the podium. She's going to say a few words about her inspiration and the piece, and the choir. I also invite you to quietly assemble behind Megan.
Thank you, Marilyn. So a bit about this piece that you're about to hear, which is called We Need One Another. I actually wrote the tune just on a whim about more than 10 years ago. And I would just always play it for fun, always thought it was a very joyful tune. And after 10 years or so, I wanted to do something more with it. I didn't want it to just be a tune that I played in my living room. So during the pandemic and the renovations to our sanctuary, we had a Zoom service, I think it was the summer before last, in which we included a reading from our hymnal, which was reading 468. And it was a poem about how we humans must do life together. And I knew right away that this was the message for this song. So please follow with me if you like, as I read the reading number 468 in the gray hymnal, if you'd like, or you could just listen. These are the words that you'll hear in the song. Reading 468 by George Odell. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we are in despair and temptation and need to be recalled to our best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat when with encouragement, we might endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us.
Thank you, Megan. I don't think it's every congregation, fellowship that gets their own piece, their own music. Yes. I would like to introduce Susan Fetzer. Susan is going to talk about our history and how we got here.
Good morning and welcome. In 1980, I saw a classified ad in the Carteret News-Times. It asked, "Are you UU? Call 726, I forget the rest of the number." Well, I called and went to a meeting at a condo in Atlantic Beach where I met a handful of other Unitarian Universalists who had moved to the area. We soon started meeting once or twice a month at the Webb Library in Morehead City with lay-led services, and then we chartered the fellowship in October of 1980. Sharing space is hard, though. I remember carrying things up from cars up the stairs to the space that we used. We had to set up chairs and put them away. There couldn't be any messy activities with the children. Can you imagine? So after a few years, we rented an apartment over the Galley Stack restaurant, which my in-laws owned. And the children met in an apartment upstairs so they could be a little messier. And we had meetings up there. And then we had our worship services in the dining room. So we still had to set up and put things away. And I remember one of our part-time ministers, Jim Barr, saying that UCF needed a building more than we needed a minister. Well, we started looking for buildings, but we kept the minister too. A building fund was started. Some of the properties I remember looking at were a house on Bridges Street, some property off Friendly Road, and then a church building went on the market. And the fellowship bought 1300 Evans Street. After some remodeling, it served us for many years, but at each year's assessment of ministry, I remember more space would enable UCF to fulfill its mission better, to reach out into the community, to affirm the worth and dignity of all, to promote justice, equity, and compassion, spiritual growth, and show respect for the environment. There needed to be more than one activity in the building at a time, more than one room for the children to meet on Sunday mornings, more space for social gatherings, more space for community gatherings. So we started looking again, property next to the church, property near Highway 70, off Highway 24, those were all considered. Liz Coit, team consultant with Stewardship for Youth, or us, I'm not sure how you say it, reviewed our financial status and helped us kick off a capital campaign. Joe Nassett was, there's Joe, you moved. Joe Nassett was president of the board and was instrumental in discussions, and we made an offer on property near the church on Arundel Street. It's a storefront now, it's Oyster Bell. We obtained variances and plans for remodeling started, but Hurricane Florence had other plans, and damage to the building led us to back out of that deal. Then this church at 2900 Bridges Street, originally a Free Will Baptist church and rented to Impact Church, went on the market. And UCF, now with Tom Cullison, our music director, we wear many hats in this congregation. UCF bought that property with intention to remodel both buildings, and work began on what is now the Reverend Sally B. White Center. It soon became apparent that it would be best to replace the 70-year-old sanctuary building with a new building. A building team was chartered in early 2019 with a plan to complete the remodeling and the construction. The board told the building team to expect to be working for about a year. Work progressed on the Sally B. White Center, and a search for design for the new building began. I look back at some of your dreams for a church building, and so many of them have been incorporated into this new home. There were dreams for a building that's open with lots of natural light, energy efficiency, accessibility, storage, a kitchen, a movable wall between the sanctuary and the social hall with flexible meeting space, adequate bathrooms. Remember having to go upstairs to go to the bathroom at 1300, and space for the children. Construction started in June of 2020 at the beginning of Melva Kearney, at the term of Melva Kearney. Melva's sitting over here as board president, and was completed in April of 2022, a little longer than a year. Yeah. 2 other teams joined the new building team in the completion of your dreams. The furnishings and finishings team. Are you here today? Hold your hands up. All right. And the landscaping team. All right. The building's finished. The teams have turned over their files to the board. And now UCF can fill the building with our work. Hymn number 1 in our gray hymnal is "May Nothing Evil Cross This Door." The hymn ends with these words: "May these sheltering walls be strong to keep hate out and hold love in. Love that enables us." And I'm paraphrasing Reverend Kenneth L. Patton here. "In gathering friendship, the encouragement of our struggle guards every person's worth, is a place where truth is sought, a place for art and music, a cradle for our dreams, and a workshop for our efforts to build a better world. May it be so."
Susan is, as she said, a founding member and our current board president, and she has worn, I think, thousands of hats. Thank you. I would like to invite Joe Nassett and Gary Willis up. They are our building team co-chairs. And I think Joe's going to speak first.
Good morning. It was February 2019, our congregation elected.
Very tall.
Thank you. Our congregation elected 7 members and friends to form a new building committee, and they charged us to do the work necessary to transition from our beloved Evans Street home, which was home for 26 years, into our new home here at 2900. Today, September 10th, 2022, the members of the building team are proud to officially join the board of directors in welcoming you into our new home. Gary and I have been asked to reflect on the journey that has brought us from Evans to Bridges. We begin by saying that it's been a much longer journey than any of us ever envisioned, but well worth it. In our last reflection to the congregation on the new building, which was back in August of 21, we emphasized the importance of our UU principles to this project and the guidance they provided to our team, to our very opinionated team. And they helped us tremendously. The 2 principles that we really relied on are the pillars of our faith. The first one is respect for the inherent worth and dignity of all humans. And the second one is respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are all a part. Looking back, I can say it hasn't been easy for us. The team lost and added 2 members since the beginning started with the unexpected death of our team member, Ann Fisk, and the out-of-country relocation of team member Casey Benavides. Fortunately for us, Karen Baggett and Tom Cullison stepped up to fill the void. Over the past 3 years, we've worked with 2 boards of directors to renovate the Sally B. White Center and performed an extensive evaluation of the property, resulting in the demolition of the existing sanctuary building where our new church would go. Throughout, we've involved many members of our congregation and done our best to listen to your suggestions and concerns. Some of the fun facts about our journey include having the property rezoned. Even though there was a church building here, it wasn't zoned for churches. As we found out after we bought it. Also, finding and securing 20 additional feet of streetfront property. The original survey we got didn't show that. So we found out after we had purchased this property that there was 20 feet along the Bridges Street side that we didn't own. It belonged to the state, and they were very cooperative in transferring it to us. Managing to conduct our own internal and external contractor meetings throughout the COVID without catching it, which was a good trick. Designing and contracting and coordinating construction of the new sanctuary. Working through critical supply chain shortages. And finally, delivering to you this beautiful campus, which we will dedicate today. Throughout all the revisions and building, our most important challenge, of course, has been the design and construction of this sanctuary. Our sanctuary doubles as a holy and inspiring place and a community gathering space. We hope all who enter find a place where they can pursue their individual search for spiritual growth and meaning and work towards a better community. In a space of peace and liberty, we make it life-filled, and we remember and thank Ann Fisk for shaping our goals, inspired by her emphasis on the third principle, the acceptance and encouragement of spiritual growth. And with that, I'd like to pass the microphone on to Gary Willis.
Thank you, Joe. I'd like to begin by just saying how proud the new building team is, and we hope the congregation is, of the energy and conservation efforts that were led by our Green Sanctuary and our landscaping committees. Just look out there at those beautiful purple beauty bushes that were in full bloom and now have all these lovely, lovely berries. I'm a native plant of North Carolina. It couldn't be any prettier than that. I also know that Penny Hooper is right on top of the new solar rebate opportunities and is persistent in her efforts to put to use the solar infrastructure, which is built right into this roof. So we're ready for solar panels. So there's still more to do. As the Building and Grounds Task Force develops the ongoing plans for maintenance and record keeping, the groundwork is being planned for upgrades to our outdoor spaces and our AV capabilities. One day we may not have to have half of the congregation to run the sound system. But today is a day for celebrating what we've done. At this point, the new building team would like to recognize those without whom all of this would not be possible. First, Reverend Emeritus Sally White, thank you for showing us the need for this space during your long and wonderful tenure as our minister. And I don't know where she is, to Reverend Ma, yes, for your support in moving us forward. Very, very important. We recognize, We recognize our first capital campaign committee led by Joe Nassett and the Building and Bridges Campaign Committee led by Lauren Donacci, and Mariana Newman. Together, these committees just led an incredible fundraising campaign and raised just an incredible amount of money, which paid for this building and the renovations on the Sally B. White Center. We thank, yeah, amazing. We thank the members of the boards of trustees who, under the leadership of Tom Cullison and Nelda Kearney, bought the property, sold the Evans Street Church, and supported the new building team efforts throughout the building and renovation process. And to Susan Fetzer, who thankfully officially retired the new building team last Thursday. And to the new board, who will oversee the 3 transition task forces that it's going to take to move us forward. The subcommittees of the new building team have been recognized, and we just want to mention again the Furnishing and Finishings Committee, the Landscape Committee, and the Green Sanctuary Committee. And there's some special shout outs here. Harriet Altman, thank you for writing the grant that made the electric vehicle charging station possible. Penny Hooper, who researched and provided the specs necessary for our eventual upgrade to solar energy. Tom Wentworth and Nan Reed for the landscape and native plantings. And once again, we acknowledge the extraordinary efforts of the Furnishing and Finishings Committee with Chair Karen Baggett and Chair Czar Miriam Green, all puns intended, for finding, building, and leading the 3rd finance campaign, which paid for the chairs. Of course, there's Smithson Construction, especially Jimmy Carson, Vice President, who worked closely with us to design the sanctuary, develop the custom construction plans to support our future upgrades, and then went back and reworked all those plans to fit a budget that we could afford. We also thank our project manager, Robert Jameson, who worked hand in hand with us throughout this entire process. I hope they're on Zoom. The city of Moorhead has been very, very helpful to us, and I'm sorry the mayor is not here to hear this. Jeannie Drake, our zoning enforcement officer, it's very, very ominous sounding title, but she patiently guided us through the rezoning and planning process, which enabled us to obtain the necessary permits for this home. And then worked with Robert Davis, the building inspector, who coached us as to what upgrades were and were not needed and what permits were and were not needed to renovate the Sally B. White Center. Very, very important. Chase Cullifer, you may not have heard much about Chase, but Chase is vice president of the Cullifer Group. And he designed the overall site plan for this campus and represented us throughout the zoning and site plan process and appeared on our behalf at the city council zoning meetings. So thank you, Chase. For the renovation of the Sally B. White Center, we extend thanks to the following 5 contractors who played key roles in that renovation: Danny May, Dowdy HVAC Contractors, Ronnie Rudd Roofing, Bruce's Plumbing, and Larry Parmalee. And we especially thank Larry Parmalee for his personal contribution to our church of the stucco renovation of our street front sign. We truly could not have accomplished our goals without all of these people and more. Our new campus is the result of the expertise, encouragement, support, fundraising, and dedication of all of these individuals, but most importantly of you, our generous UCF congregation members. Thanks to you, our new home reflects the moral compass of UCF in a time when our values are so critically needed. This campus is our new home of peace, our home of worship, our home of truth, our home of freedom, our home of dignity, our home of fellowship, and our home of love. And it was made possible by the generosity and the talent of this amazing and awesome congregation. So, once again, each of us on the new building team thanks each of you for making this possible and for the opportunity to serve you. Thanks.
I would like to invite Reverend Micah Ma up to give us I think, a ritual and a blessing.
And I'd like to invite up a couple of volunteers who are going to help me pass some baskets. Thank you. So for those of you who don't come to Sunday morning worship, yeah, go ahead and start passing them. I'm just going to talk a little bit. So for those of you who may not attend Sunday morning worship here, we always make time during the service for something we call joys and concerns. So as the basket passes you by, please take a couple of stones or shells or pieces of coral and just hold them in your hand. And I'll let you know what to do with them in a minute, but you can just hold them in your hand and examine them, rub your thumb over it, feel the texture of the shell or the coral or the stone, wonder maybe about where it came from. So on Sunday mornings, when we have joys and concerns here, people line up and they come down the front and they'll take one of those stones or shells or pieces of coral and they'll drop them in this chalice, which is full of water. And we make this moment in the service to acknowledge that, we're human and we come to this place from different places and walks of life, and that we carry different things with us, just like these stones and shells that come from all over the place, right? We have griefs and sorrows in our lives, and we also have joys and celebrations that we want to share with others. And so during that moment of joys and concerns, when people come up and they take a stone or shell or piece of coral, like I said, and they drop it in the water to share their joys, to release their sorrows, to put down their burdens, whatever it is that that person needs at that point in time. That's sort of the purpose of that ritual. It's a way to share and a way to just release whatever it is that you're carrying. So as we're passing the baskets around now and you're taking one of those stones or shells, in a moment, you're going to have the opportunity to return it to us. And then forever afterward, every Sunday morning, when we have our joys and concerns ritual, we will hold one of those stones or shells or pieces of coral that you blessed for us today. So as you hold, this little object in your hand, you can whisper to it, you can stroke it gently, you can rub it between your hands if you like. Does everyone have their stone or shell or thing now? Okay, baskets are still being passed. Okay, still working on it. All right, that's fine. We'll take our time. We have nothing but time here. Yeah. So like I said, you can take it, rub it between your hands. You can breathe on it. You can whisper secrets to it. Something for us to remember your presence hereby, because some of y'all came from quite a long ways away. Some of you maybe came from across the street. Some of you may be very familiar with Unitarian Universalism. Maybe you've been UUs your whole life or most of your lives. For some of you, this may be the only Unitarian Universalist church that you've ever known. This might be your first time here today. But regardless of whether or not this is your first time or your 101st time here today, we're really, really grateful that you're here and that you're blessing us with your presence. Have we finished passing them all? Yeah, no, come back, because you need to pass them all around again and collect them back. Yeah, sorry. And now we're going to give you the opportunity to collect them back. I mean, if you take them with you, that's fine. This is a generous congregation, as you've already heard. I hope, however, that some of you will give your blessings back to us so that, like I said, tomorrow morning, when we have joys and concerns here, we will pick up a stone that you also touched. We will pick up a shell that you also touched in the way that you touched us by being here with us today. Oh, what a lovely sound. Sounds sort of like rain. I like it.
She took this.
We are so grateful for your blessings today. And like I said, if you want to take your blessing with you, we bless you. And now I believe we have one final hymn. And so I invite all to stand if you are willing or able for hymn number 308, The Blessings of the Earth and Sky.
The blessing of the earth and sky upon our friendly house to lie. The righteous of a master's heart has blessed us in its every part. The warmth of many hands is strewn, a human blessing on this stone. The wind upon the lakes and hills performs its native rituals. The worship of our human toll brings pleasurement with sun and soul. With words and music we earth in nature's wonder seek our worth. Here we restore ancestral dreams, enshrined in floor and wall and beam, a monument wherein we build that their high purpose be fulfilled, a tool to help our children prove an earth of promise and of love.
Please be seated. Sorry. We're not done yet. Our dedication celebration is going to conclude with a ceremonial ribbon cutting, followed by refreshments in the social hall. But first, I would like to thank and honor our planning team for this event. And if you would please stand, Louise Hughes, Mariana Newman, Miriam Green. There you are. And Nan Reed has provided our flowers, and we thank Nan for those flowers. And Marilyn Cullison. And I want to say that we also helped plan the dedication of the Reverend Sally B. White Center, which is our education building behind us there. And so we tagged into that and planned this. And most of all, we want to thank all of you for coming. And I know there are a lot of you who are from out of town. So again, thanks. I want to also thank our speakers today. And they took a lot of time to put together our history and how we got here. And indeed, it was a journey. And so thanks again. Secondly, there are offertory plates for offerings as well as, we returned our seashells already. There are offertory plates as you're exiting the building if you would like to donate to Unitarian Coastal Fellowship. I also want to let everybody know that in the in the social hall behind us, we're going to eat and drink. And so if you don't want to be around people who are not masked, please be aware of that. If you would like a tour of the campus, please ask any UCF member and we will certainly show you around. We're excited you're here. I would like to invite members of the building team and the past and present board to come forward in front of the podium. I had to make a call about whether or not we're going to do our ribbon cutting outside or inside. And it was raining then, so we've decided to do it inside. And Reverend Ma, we would like you up here also. So I think we're going to also try to get a picture. If you didn't bring your scissors, I have some extra. And so as you can tell, we're going to have many pieces to our wonderful yellow ribbon provided by Louise. And Louise, are we organized? Where's Louise? I think, are we ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. And so now we can adjourn to the social hall and keep enjoying one another's company. Go ahead. Yeah.